saw this quite nice horse.
Yeah.
So I said to her, its back end needs work, but how cute are those knees?
Am I right? Should we crack into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Hi, this is Blythe Tate, and you're listening to Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
Oh, man, that tastes good, Mitch.
Tastes better when you've earned it, Braden.
It really does. And should I say, Mitch, Braden, Monica, and Maddy.
Hey team.
G'day, mates.
How are we?
G'day, mates.
Shit, we're doing real good. And if I can just throw over to Mitch for a second and just say, Mitch, how great is it that we've flown our first guest up from New Zealand?
All the way from New Zealand. They've made a hell of a trip, and they've met us at the Stump pub here.
Yep.
Shout out to those guys. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah, bloody good. I mean, was it a bit of a surprise for you, Maddy, to get the call when we, following the success of our podcast, that we got in touch and said, get yourself up to England, we want to interview you?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the show, so to get the call up was quite special.
Oh,
I'll take it.
Thanks.
It's great to hear that.
Yeah, pleasure to have you. And Mon, how long you been up in the Northern Hemisphere for? When did you arrive?
A week ago?
Yeah.
And how hot has that week been? I bet this English weather has surprised you.
Actually, it has.
We've been up in the low 30s, I believe.
How
a little
hot?
bit sunburnt the other day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Mate, yeah, I'm in tanning. Hey, before we get into the chat with the girls, Mitch, do you just want to set the scene for us? Where are we here tonight? Because there's a bit of background noise for those just tuning in on the audio. So do you just want to set the scene before we crack into the good stuff?
I can set the scene. We're at a pub, the Stump pub. Great pizzas. Set in the Cotswolds. Lovely area of the world. Had a little group dinner here. And these guys begged us to get on the podcast. It just so happens Braden had the kit in the back of the car, and so here we are.
And ladies, it's a pleasure to have you both on. So we are going to crack into it. And I'm sure you're really familiar with how it works. We've got a plethora of questions lined up for you both this evening. And we're going to kick things off tonight with a live fan question, our first ever live fan question. So Mitch, if you just want to pass that microphone over, we're going to do a live fan question.
Who have we got on the end of the microphone?
Let's see who comes through.
Find out.
Hey team, Muzi, Pottinger here. So ladies, I've got a eventing husbands question for you. So, I mean, as much as we love your current husbands, I would like to know if you had to marry someone, man, in eventing, who would it be?
Geez, and can I just jump in and say, how hard to compare to Spence and James? Because those two blokes, geez, if I wasn't already tied up, I mean...
I think those girls would be after them.
How hot?
They would be in trouble, I'll tell you that much. So, Maddy, I'm going to put this on to you first.
No pressure.
Oh, what a question. Jeez Louise, you haven't gone quiet there. I mean, I'd probably have to trade in one of you two.
Oh, I'm listening.
Which
listening.
one? Which one?
Like, who else is there? You guys are interested, you're famous in the world now.
Yep.
You step in, you're supportive.
Please, continue.
Yeah, thank you.
You kind of be adopted husbands
Don't
anyway.
stop. Keep going.
I'm going to have to go with that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to press you for one, though, because, no pressure.
Oh, I feel like I've answered that.
Okay. Well,
I think she's done really well, and I think there's
she was sitting next to me at dinner, so we'll end it with that.
I think if there's one gentleman who's listening along at home that might feel a little let down, that's maybe Clark Johnston.
Oh, he'd probably be heartbroken, to be fair. I mean, he was our celebrant.
He was, and not only that, big fan of the show. Shout out Clark Johnston. I know
Previous guest.
No, not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
He was a question, wasn't he?
We'd love to get him on.
He
He
was
was
a fan
question.
question.
We'd love
fan
to get
question.
him on.
He is, in fact, lined up. He's also been begging us to get on the show.
Yeah.
Similar response to ours.
Exactly. Absolutely.
exactly.
You know what it's like.
Well, I mean, I really don't want to put this on to you, Monica. It's a hell of a fan question. We had no idea about it up front. But I think the question was, if Spence was out of the picture, who are you going after in the eventing world?
And Spence isn't listening to this.
Yeah.
Trust me, he doesn't have a clue what we're up to over here, so just go at it.
Major setup question.
Yeah, thanks, Moz.
Spence, he'd be a hard act to follow. I'm going to go with 9 cats.
Please explain.
No more husbands.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Calling it quits at this one.
Yeah. Spence, eh?
Yeah.
And I'm not even a cat gal, so...
That boy's done a job, hasn't he?
That says a lot about Spence.
Yeah.
Maddie, are we going to let her off the hook like that? Because you got
I feel
the
like
heat got turned on.
You grilled me for
I
that.
think Mitch grilled you.
So I feel like Monica needs an answer. I answered with, like, you two.
Yeah, honesty and
then
transparency.
I even threw the branch out when somebody mentioned Clark, who
Yeah,
is kind
you
of a
did.
substitute anyway.
Yeah.
So
Monica,
That's-
one more chance. Spencer's out of the picture. You're forced into it. Cats don't even exist. You know, history has been rewritten. Noah's Ark. The cats missed the boat. Who is it?
Listen, if there was someone in mind, I would honestly say, but I just can't think of any eventer I'd want to marry. I mean, would you want to marry an eventer?
I mean,
We both have.
all four of us.
All 4 of us have.
Well, no, not 3 of us have.
We didn't.
We
That's
didn't.
the point.
James is
James is
more than an eventer.
I mean, he has had a couple of starts.
Yeah.
He has a couple of starts
couple
on
of
the
stars
record.
under his belt,
Hard
and that's
to-
all that matters. It doesn't matter about the end result. Just
We
starting.
placed in one of them.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that he didn't.
Mighty 95 at Rotorua.
Oh, shout out Rotorua. Kia ora, all of our fans in Rotorua. Hey, we should probably, we've got our second fan question lined up, so we think we're going to let mine off there. And if we hand the mic over for fan question number 2.
G'day team. Tom James here, all the way from New Zealand as well.
Oh, g'day,
Just
mate.
been jumping on the Muzi Pottinger fan wagon,
Yeah,
or
g'day.
bandwagon from Fullamula.
And that is a full wagon.
Huge
Let
fan
me
of the
tell
show,
you about
boys.
it.
It's great to be here.
Hey, mate, it's great to have you here.
Yeah. Now, I actually sort of a bit of a follow-up question from Muzi's earlier. I didn't actually come to hassle the girls. I've actually come to reverse the question.
Oh,
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
There's a few parameters here, though, boys.
I'm listening. All right.
So,
All right.
you're obviously both happily married.
Happily.
Yes.
But
Very,
if you
very
had
happily.
to, and there's no cats involved, if you had to switch up the wives
Yeah.
for an eventer,
Yes.
who would it be?
Janelle
there's
Price.
there's no
Janelle
no
Price?
sugarcoating. I love it.
I'll do one up on you there.
Janelle.
Laura Collett.
Laura Collett?
Yep.
Why?
Success.
Yeah?
Success breeds success.
Success breeds success. Are you thinking about your children?
That's not what I said. But, you know, three-time 5-star winner.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong?
Oh, mate. No,
Huge
I mean,
fan of the show as well.
Yeah,
Throws
big-
a great
yeah,
party.
well,
you know,
You've,
I do like a party. Laura throws a good party.
yeah.
What more could you want? So
I
we-
mean-
Laura,
What more could I want? Janelle Price.
yeah.
Current world number 3.
2.
But I believe she's at, unless there's an ESNZ article that's gone amiss in the launch for Aachen, I believe she was stated at 3. I mean, for me, I thought she was 2 behind Tim. Unless
Yeah.
there's been, either way.
Not overtaken by Laura Collett.
Either
was
way,
she?
I'm marrying her. So,
How does Tim feel about that?
well, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Hey,
Because
thanks, Sam.
as much as as much as Janelle on her own, that's where my head's at. Is I would love to have that over Tim. You know, it's just we're on the golf course,
Yeah.
and he's putting to win the game, and I just dropped that one on him. You know, so so second only to my beautiful wife and loving and caring wife that I will never leave ever. So, but apart from that, Janelle Price.
Yeah. Good. Shit, Tom. Thanks, there, mate.
And I've just had confirmation.
Confirmation.
Current world number 3. World number 3. I think, is that Ros Cantor that's gone ahead following her badminton success?
And we've still got a Kiwi on the top there? Of course we
There
do.
he is. Oh,
Give him a taste of Kiwi.
he may be on the top of the FEI World Rankings. So good on you, Timbo. Hey, what's the next question we got lined up? Oh, I think it's me. Thanks, fans. The next question is for Monica. Monica, for our fans who aren't familiar with the New Zealand eventing scene, I was wondering if you could just paint a picture of, your setup in New Zealand in Taupō. For someone that isn't familiar, it's the Southern Hemisphere. Currently, it's winter down there. How many shows you're getting to? Just a picture of the New Zealand eventing scene.
Okay, so before I left for here, I had a handful of young horses in. We're going to some show jump shows and a bit of cross-country schooling, but no eventing happening at the moment back home.
Okay. But if we zoomed out a little bit for the year, what are some of the big shows that you target down under?
Gosh, favourite show would have to be Horse of the Year.
And what is Horse of the Year?
Didn't happen this year, unfortunately, due to devastating floods in Hawke's Bay, which was really sad, mainly for the people that lived in Hawke's Bay. But devastating what happened there.
Yeah, it was. It's tragic down there. Yeah,
absolutely devastating.
And so, but when Horse of the Year does run, what is Horse of the Year in New Zealand? My understanding, the biggest equestrian show in the Southern Hemisphere. Is that right?
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah? And what level of eventing do they run to?
They do advanced and intermediate only.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of running like a Blenheim 8 and 9-year-old kind of setup. Is that what we're going for, or is that? Am I completely wrong?
You're the expert.
Well, I'm asking the experts.
Yeah. Maddy, care to weigh in on that?
So they run a 3 short and a 4 short, all ages.
All ages?
All ages horses.
Okay.
So just two open sections. Mm-hmm. They condense it. There's normally limited entries, not that
no
they fill
age,
up, but
no age
restriction, no age classes.
Okay.
Just 3 and 4. It's probably the biggest atmosphere you would see in New Zealand.
What sort of crowds we talking on cross country day on the Saturday?
Oh, they actually get loads. Yes.
Yeah.
20,000?
I think
I actually think it is.
Yeah, that rings a bell to me.
They get loads in. They've got all disciplines that run at Horse of the Year, which makes it better for the crowds. And they come in and they get to watch a bit of showing, a bit of dressage, a bit of jumping, and then they shut the whole venue down for the cross country, which we get to run across kind of all areas, and it makes it a much better atmosphere for the Kiwi horses to be exposed to.
Yeah,
definitely.
So that's Horse of the Year. Mon, you're specifically in Taupō, where the National Equestrian Centre is. That location specifically, it's the middle of the North Island. What are the benefits of being based there in Taupō? Because you were originally Auckland, but then you migrated south.
Taupō. Hummus. Biggest pro, no mud.
Oh yeah?
Hummus in Taupō.
Yep.
Free draining land.
Yep.
Yes. And is very central to all the competitions, which is nice.
Yeah. No, bloody good. Well, Mitch, I think I've sucked the juice dry of that lemon, and you go over to you.
We're going to throw this one back at Maddy, who, having not only evented in New Zealand and England, also evented, I believe, for a short period of time in Australia. Could you paint us the picture of what it would be like over there compared to New Zealand or England?
I find Australia very similar to New Zealand. Bigger numbers though, and they have a lot more different venues. I think New Zealand's a bit limited in the venues that we have, and the numbers competing kind of in your 3 and 4 star classes. Australia have kind of more competitors, different courses, and probably different terrain to run over.
And Australia is bloody massive. If you're into your eventing over there, whereabouts do you want to be based? What is
Good question.
the Taupō
great question.
of Australia?
Great question.
They kind of stick to their states, really. Like Victoria has a good calendar, and then New South Wales kind of have their own calendar. Mm-hmm. So I've spent quite a lot of time in New South Wales, and then I actually went down to Victoria as well as the season dried up a little bit in New South Wales. I think they all kind of share the big shows, the long formats and things. You either go across to Adelaide, or like they just had Melbourne 3-day where everybody from New South Wales came down, and then at the end of the year they've got Sydney, so then all of Victorians will go up to New South Wales. You can end up driving a really long way.
Are you getting people coming across from Perth?
Yep,
They're
they
making a
took
what's
3
that,
days.
3-day trip.
3 days for them to get across to Melbourne. It's a long way.
Yeah, that's
Lot
putting
of
the
travel.
real meaning into a 3-day event, isn't it?
Yep, 3 days of travelling. I actually, Lush flew back from Melbourne and she beat the Western Australian horses home.
Oh,
Back
really?
to
So
New
she's
Zealand.
flown from Melbourne to Auckland, New Zealand.
Travelled down to Hamilton and she beat the Western
Beating the
Australian
horses,
horses home.
going back to Perth. Wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
long way.
Big old bit of land, isn't it?
Big
Isn't
old
it
bit of
just?
land and there's lots of poisonous things.
Yeah, seen many snakes?
Yeah,
Too many?
Yeah.
too many.
What are we talking? Browns, red belly blacks?
Yeah. We had a python that lived in the barn
I'm
for a
listening,
while,
yeah.
but nobody was really too worried about that because apparently it strangles. So it's
Oh, yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
It's
that-
fine, doesn't
And
bite.
do they come out at you like a pheasant would over here?
No,
No?
thankfully.
No? Okay. You're not falling off horses because you've had a snake come.
No, kangaroos will do that
Oh,
for you, though.
kangaroos. Yeah, of course. How could we forget?
Yeah.
How could we forget about the kangaroos?
They just like to hop right in the way.
Yeah. And
all
is
the
that quite common? You'll just be out on a hack and a kangaroo will come along and...
So where I galloped, actually, in New South Wales, we had wallaroos, probably 25, that lived around the track. And then where I galloped in Victoria, there was probably a herd of 50 big kangaroos that like to live on the
Yeah.
track, around the track.
like to get quite friendly with the horses when you're out in a hack and
They just
Yeah.
appear.
yeah,
Cause
Yeah.
carnage.
yeah.
Cause
They just
carnage.
go
Hey,
wherever they want to go.
Speaking of people that cause carnage, I was wondering if we could just take a pause and digress for 1 second, Maddy, as we zoom in on you in Australia. Hey, can you tell me about your honeymoon? All I want to know is where did the idea come from,
James will kill you for this.
and how did you decide on purchasing a safari in Africa without flights?
I haven't actually heard this story, Maddy, so if you wanted to get into a little bit of detail,
Yeah.
just let me know everything that went on there.
Yeah, just in as little or as many details as you'd like.
So this nearly caused a divorce before we got married, actually. So yeah, we're going on a safari in South Africa
It sounds amazing.
when we have time
Yeah.
to fit that in. No, we had a lovely evening at the VWH Humble. Of which, yeah, we were having a really nice night when James really liked the look of the safari on the auction. Yeah, and I should have supervised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turns
Yes.
out I didn't supervise.
We live and we
and
learn. Yes.
no, James is never allowed unsupervised at an auction ever again.
Did he win it on purpose? Because I still don't know if he actually won the auction on purpose, or if the way he tells it, it was he
Accident?
accidentally won the safari to
accidentally
Africa.
bid the winning bid.
He accidentally bid the winning bid, apparently. So I think everybody who knows James,
I know, James.
he gets distracted very easily. And so as James tells it, he was kind of bidding, and then I did give him a maximum price when he went over, and he got to that point and then thought, oh no, I'll just bow out, and then obviously got distracted for what must have been some time, because as James describes it, it was a short time, but in this short time he heard them say just 100 more, and he seemed to think it was just 100 more on when he bowed
When
out.
he bowed
Honest
out,
mistake.
yeah.
Honest
Honest
mistake.
It happens to the best of us.
Like I said, it wasn't a short time that obviously went by, and yeah, then he 100 more.
100 more.
It was
Price
not
had
100 more.
gone up substantially
And
from
substantially.
where he bowed out.
Without talking numbers, was it something like double the budget you gave him? Something like that?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So.
Like I said, we nearly got divorced
Yeah.
before we got
But you
married.
Yeah.
didn't, and what a
Yeah.
lovely honeymoon to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a treat. It's going to be memorable.
Mitch,
Yeah.
I think.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
no, sorry, I was just going to say that, speaking of wonderful husbands,
Yes.
Mon, this is coming your way. I know how much Spence loves to get involved in your eventing career, follows you all around the country, and basically is probably your head lad, your head groom, would you say?
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. What would be the best piece of eventing advice that Spence has ever passed on to you?
I know, there's so many. There's knowing Spence, I imagine there's a lot.
Yeah. I know there's so much advice. Where do you begin?
Where do you start?
I wish I knew these questions beforehand.
So do we. So do we. If I can recall, recently I saw him on Soshmed, and he was giving a full-on tutorial on how to approach a horse in the wild. Were you across this?
I was videoing this.
You were videoing this.
Chasing after the Kaimanua horses, I believe.
Kaimanua.
No, not quite. This is just the 3-year-old out in the paddock.
Yeah, well, it was actually a 7-year-old.
Oh, was it?
Having a little nap, but no, that was hilarious. And I don't know if he gives me any eventing specific advice, but
Yes.
it's just adding a bit of, normality and grounding to my life, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess
He's
that
the
is...
voice of reason.
Is he? Yeah, well, he sounds like the sensible one because he's not the one sitting on a horse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy knows what he's on about.
And I think I was just going to say, I can see on the list here, my follow-up question is at Maddy Siverite is same question. Is there any advice that you've ever had from James?
He tells me this at every show.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Just send it.
Just
send
send it.
it.
Just
I
send
like to
it.
pull. He gets mad.
Okay.
You
I'm a bit
I'd
slow,
get mad if you were my wife
and he
too.
gets mad. So it's just send
Like
it.
it to pull.
Every
Just send
time.
it.
Just send it.
Yeah.
Words to
Just
live
stamp
by.
and send it.
Jump
Yeah.
jockey there.
Simple done well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Hey, Mitch, where are we at?
We've actually just at the Stump Pub here. We've just had another person walk in the door.
Oh, is that who
Saw
I
us
think it
doing a
is?
podcast, and she's decided she wants to come up and ask another fan question here. Big fan of the show and previous guest, Laura Collett. Welcome to the show.
Oh, g'day, mate.
Oh, I love the show so much. Just had to make a comeback.
There she is. Hey, Laura, before you get started, hey, congrats on Lamulin.
Thank you.
You know, Mitch and I got together. We like to follow the people who've been on our show, and we had a watch along party, and I saw Mitch was crying.
Oh, well,
Tears in my
that's
eyes.
nice. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mitch. Thanks.
And actually, it's bringing back
Still there, isn't it?
It's still there. As I imagine it must be for you.
Oh, it was pretty
Three
epic. Yeah, pretty
5-star
epic.
wins.
I know, it's crazy.
What- yeah, it is.
Might
It
have to
is
have another
crazy.
party.
Yeah. Hey, Laura,
Hey.
you've had your episode, so so what's your fan question you have this evening?
Okay, so my fan question is, if you could pick any horse and rider combination, past or present, to make up your Olympic team for Paris next year, who would it be?
Wowee.
Wow,
So
what a question.
they have to have been a combination. So say
Yeah.
like you on London.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You can't steal my horse.
Yeah.
You have to have me as well.
Oh, there goes London.
Yeah, what a question.
What a
I think,
question.
Braden, who would be your first pick if you're a selector?
Wait, sorry, is it past or present?
Yeah.
Well,
Blythe Tate and
Blythe Tate,
Ready
Ready Teddy.
Yeah,
So that
goes without saying.
That's me, but
Famous.
it's not me. Shall we start with should we move on to Maddy?
So we're making up our team or just one combination?
Are we going new format? Three.
Three on a team.
Can we name a
Three
reserve?
on a team.
3 on a team.
No reserve. 3 on the team.
3 on a team. Past or present?
Ooh. The first one I'd have to go was probably Mickey Young with La Vista Texan. I think that was one of the most consistent combinations in history. And then I'm a big fan of Laura.
Oh.
And I mean, London 52, he's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He's got some of the best finishing scores at a 5-star in history as it stands at the moment. So there's two very solid solid combination.
Yeah, you're off to a good start there.
And my third combination would probably have to be... Who do I want?
There's a few to choose from out there.
There is, isn't there?
There is a lot of combinations.
Why, have you got one that comes to your mind, Mitchell?
No, there's too many.
Too many, is it?
Too many.
Too many.
But being a Kiwi,
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm going Kiwi vibes. I think I'd go...
probably have to go for Andrew Hoy.
How do you mean?
And
let him finish. Let him finish. Go on. How do you mean?
You know, you want the most capped. You want experience in your team.
Yeah.
You know, going forward.
Yeah, being a Kiwi.
This guy's been to how many Olympics now?
You tell me.
I don't know.
It's
Is
being
it
a
seven?
Kiwi.
Is
Being
it
a
seven?
Kiwi.
Being a Kiwi.
Being
Yeah.
a Kiwi.
Being a Kiwi.
Shout out to Andrew Hoy.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show. Classic.
And honorary Kiwi.
Honorary
Kiwi.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to out Mitch as an Australian right now, but let's just say one of us was born in Australia.
Yeah. And you married her.
Yeah. That one is a secret. Mon, I think we've got a spot left. Is there anyone that comes to mind for you? Any combination? Any horse rider combination you'd chuck on your Olympic team?
To add to Maddie's team.
Yeah, or if you've got your own team.
If you've got three
No,
your own.
I can add one. How about Tim and Falco?
Yeah, good combination.
Current world number
Or
one.
Jock and Promise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a goodie.
John Padgett gets a call up.
Jock Padgett.
Can I put Jock in as the reserve?
Ooh.
We're not just trying to get on other teams here, are we?
Just similar thing to the Janelle question earlier. It would just be nice to put Jock in as a reserve and just tell him that I put him on my team as a reserve.
Yeah. He's not making the top three.
To be fair, I think Clark on Balmoral Sensation would actually be one in there too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've probably gone more than three between us.
We've got a long list.
Yeah. But I think the main thing was, Laura, hell of a question. And we really appreciate your input as a big fan of the show.
No worries.
Yeah. Thanks for just rocking up tonight and, you know.
Enjoying the stump.
Just
Yeah. It's more about the food at the stump, but you know.
yeah. You're not wrong. Hey, thanks very much, Laura Collett.
Man.
All right. Braden.
Is it over to me, is it?
Is it? You tell me.
I mean, you may have got a bit lost along the journey there. I think there were a lot of ropes, you know. A very twisty-turny course. There's a lot of classes being run this weekend, and
Maybe you went up the wrong laneway.
That's what it feels like. But we're at question number 7, and it's just a quick-fire one, a really easy. Would you sort of one or the other? And I'm going to say, if you could only have one of these two things for the rest of your life,
Having just flown over here, fresh from New Zealand.
I'm saying an English pub or a New Zealand service station pie. One or the other.
Are we going to BP?
For me,
Yeah.
I'm actually going a Z butter chicken pie. The pastry is to die for. But I hear you on the Wild Bean Cafe.
On the Wild Bean Cafe.
Yeah.
I actually think I'd have to go English pub.
English pub over New Zealand service station pie.
Yeah.
Oh, we
For
better
the
not
rest of
let
my
this
life?
out.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine?
I mean, you can get other pies
Okay.
in the
I hear.
country.
Yeah, I'd say English pub. If you had said bakery pie of your choice, it may have been a harder decision.
Really? What have you got in mind?
Yeah,
Not
what
a
pie
fan
would
of
you
the
be going
wild
for?
bean.
What have you got in mind?
Oh, I mean...
Is there a specific bakery in
No.
Taupo? No?
No, I mean, there's a few good ones.
Yeah. But which pie specifically are we going? Are we going to a
Pie.
potato top or a beef and kidney?
No.
Are we?
I like a steak and mushroom.
Steak and, yeah.
Okay, yes. I'm a steak and mushroom
Steak
gal.
and mushroom.
Or mince and cheese. Yes,
Simple.
classic.
Well.
Yeah. You can't
Beautiful.
go past the Big Ben. Mince and cheese.
Can you?
You absolutely
After a big
can.
weekend.
There's not much to beat that.
How good. Mitchell, are we going question 8 or question 9 here?
Let's go question 9. Question 9. If we're talking about New Zealand,
Go on.
I think since we've got a couple of Kiwis on the show,
And
big fans of the show.
Yeah, and probably the question on everybody's lips.
Is how is this podcast being received down under? Is it the talk of the town?
Yeah.
Or have people never heard of us?
No, genuinely. My mum and dad.
Really?
They rang me and
Shout out Molly Crow.
they
And Richard.
Yeah,
they
both.
rang me to tell me that James was mentioned.
Yeah.
And I hadn't yet gotten around to this, and they mistakenly called me when it was quite late at night, and I was quite cross. But then the next day, I jumped on and had to catch up.
That's bloody good to hear.
Yeah.
Both Molly and Richard.
So Molly and Richard are definitely listening and keeping me informed that James got a shout out.
Being very well received.
So as
A
far as
well-deserved
I'm concerned-
shout out, actually. Winning Eventing Weekly. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
3
well,
weeks
whenever
ago?
in Mill Street.
Mill Street.
How was he about that?
I mean, he was pretty gutted because he didn't sign up for the prizes.
Did he not? Oh no!
But he was very proud.
Oh,
Very, very proud of
yeah,
himself.
we were proud of him.
We were proud of him.
He takes it very seriously.
And so we should.
I mean,
And
the eventing
especially
husband-
to have him as part of the Boys Know Best
Yeah.
eventing league.
And now the Eventing Weekly
And now
League,
the Eventing Weekly
which
League.
we will get on to shortly. Yeah. Well, is it now time, Mitch?
I think, well, while we're at it, we
Yeah.
might as well get into it, Braden. And we've got a big weekend coming up this weekend in Aachen.
Yes.
What
Did
is
you guys
Aachen?
know Aachen was on?
What is Aachen?
What is Aachen?
Why is Aachen
Chio.
such... Why is Aachen Aachen?
Oh, I love Aachen.
Why?
It's
it's
just.
I've never been to Aachen.
Oh, I was.
Yeah?
I've been there, and it was a very, very stressful week in my life last time I was there. I was fresh off the plane and straight into Aachen and straight on the team. So
Yeah.
it was big, but it's
Big
just.
week.
I don't know. There's the atmosphere. It's just incredible. The stadium, everything about Aachen. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're heading along as well, Mon, this week. You're going along to watch Aachen.
Yes.
What are
first,
you most excited to see over there?
First time at Aachen for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just keen to see our Kiwis go out and do their thing.
Yeah. Good
And
luck to those
that
guys.
that actually opens up the question I had. Any predictions for Aachen? Obviously, it would be nice to see Tim and Falco, leading the dressage after
day one.
After day one, unless dressage is split over 2 days, and then after day two. But I'm not sure.
It's just one.
Yeah.
It's just
Just
one after
one.
day
Yeah,
one.
as we knew.
Yes, we knew. Yeah. Any other predictions? I don't know if you guys have had a chance to have a look at the
lineup.
at the field.
I
That'd
mean,
be my pick for a win.
Yeah.
Chipmunk's back in the game.
Yes, I
Chipmunk's
did
back.
see
Yeah.
Chipmunk.
Mickey Young's there.
Yeah.
I see my Barnes there.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Americans have a
fresh
couple
off
of
a
strong.
five-star win.
There's somebody else.
There's a couple of Kiwis
There's a
going.
couple of Kiwis. I wouldn't put it past the Kiwis
Yeah.
to have a good shot.
Do you want to hear Mitch's team?
Yeah.
Mitch.
Do you want to hear my eventing manager team for
Fill me
Aachen? Just going off how good we think the Kiwis are going to go here. My number one pick is Tom McEwen on Jail Dublin.
Yep.
I think they were quite cheap at the time, so they were obviously first on the list.
Okay.
Pick number two, Patrick Ruig.
Okay.
Ruig.
Is that on 50-50?
50-50, it is
Yep.
indeed. Pick number three for me is the one and only Mickey.
Yep.
Mickey Young on Fisher Chipmunk there. And my fourth pick for the weekend is an American, Will Coleman, on Off the Record.
That's a good shout.
Maddie, is there anything you notice about Mitch's team?
No Kiwis.
No bloody Kiwis.
Where's the support?
Well, you see, my record on eventing manager in recent events hasn't been too sharp. It seems to be everyone I pick goes terrible.
Is this
Okay.
because you're actually a secret Australian?
Well, there's no Australians on my team.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just a sellout.
just
yeah,
so
but
you know.
that's the Australian loyalty, isn't it?
Well, hey, we just won the Ashes, so
Oh, we just won the Ashes. Oh my God! Can we have enough of that? Because here's my team for the weekend, and my number one pick, Samantha Lissington on Rickeridge City GNZ. Number two pick,
Whipped.
Tim Price on Falco. Number three pick, Caroline Powell, Green Acres Special Cavalier, and with the leftover money, I've bought Mickey Young and Fisher Chipmunk. So I think what you're seeing there is a really patriotic team. Give them a taste of Kiwi team,
Yeah.
and
One very strong German.
yeah, and a very very strong German, but maybe the team that's going to get it done.
Well, we'll see about that, won't we?
Well-
there's a lot to do out there, Braden.
There is a lot to...
I believe the time is quite tight.
Are they going to be fast enough?
Are you going to be
Yeah.
fast?
Yep. Well, I've got a few concerns about Chipmunk, but I think he'll pull up on the day. So if you want to be a part of this, if you haven't listened in previously, and actually if you've got no idea what we're talking about, Eventing Weekly have launched a league on Eventing Manager. Eventing Manager is the Equi Ratings fantasy eventing league where you get $10 million and you get to buy a team. If you want to join us on Eventing Manager, go into your leagues. You can click leagues and then you can go add or join league, and Eventing Manager has a code. So you go join league and then you type in the code ENZP6E and you do that and you're a part of the thousands of people who have already signed up to join us in the Eventing Weekly League.
Can you break that down with examples for each letter so people don't get confused?
Okay, that would be equestrian. Go on.
What, the code?
Equestrian New Zealand.
So you've got E for equestrian, N for new, Z for Zealand,
P for penguin.
for penguin, 6
Comes before 7.
after 5, and
E for equi
Eventing?
eventing.
for equi eventing. So there's the code. We'll share it on our socials this week. It'll be all over our socials. Mitch, the ladies at the bar are giving us the wave. They're saying they're on their way out. So we really should get on to the section of our Eventing Weekly podcast, and that is our eventing advice. And the way this works, guys, is we get fans to leave us feedback on Apple Podcasts, and there they give us some advice to which we put to you guys, and you get to comment on what you think about their advice. So Mitch, I think the title of this one is this JRE 2.0? And
Is this JRE 2.0?
And my thoughts is, I think the question is this the Joe Rogan Experience 2.0?
Yeah. I mean, it could be mistaken for that, couldn't it?
Yeah,
The wisdom and just truths that are being spoken.
Flat Earth.
It's uncanny.
Flat Earth.
Uncanny.
Well, I was just going to say, I can see there this fan question comes in from a fellow unhorsey boyfriend. And the question is, it says, lads, listening in all the way from dirty South Island, big up, represent. My advice, and it's proven, fake it till you make it. Keep up the hustle, boys.
And I think that is more advice for us rather than these two riders here who are at the top of the game, actually.
Well, what do you guys make of that advice? Fake it till you make it.
I think there's some truth to that, in fairness.
Yeah?
You've got to be proud of what you're doing, and sometimes you do have to put on a smile and pretend you know what you're doing, and sometimes it helps, and then you find out how to do it properly. Sometimes.
Mon?
Absolutely.
Fake it till you make it?
I'd agree with that, walk the walk and...
Talk the talk.
Sometimes you have bad days and you have to cover that up and pretend it's not. So fake it till you make it has some relevance, definitely.
Well, it's a hell of a piece of fan feedback, and if I can just say, from the Cotswolds all the way down to the south, get some south
The
in your
dirty south.
Get some south in your mouth.
Yeah. Cheese roll. Get those dirty cheese rolls in there.
Cheese rolls south in your mouth. It's very niche content, but I know that'll land really well down.
That'll be well received.
Did you guys try the cheese rolls at our wedding? Is that where that came from?
No.
Did you have
miss all
cheese
the
rolls
cheese
at your
rolls?
wedding?
No, I don't miss the cheese rolls at your wedding.
So everybody who had the cheese rolls at the wedding had never had cheese rolls before from up north. We had cheese rolls,
It's
they
a
rolled
very
out at like 11.
See, that's the issue.
Oh, that's because Mitch was at the bar getting Jaeger bombs.
Getting Jaeger bombs and espresso martinis at about 11:01 actually. So I think
Missed
I
the
just
cheese
missed
rolls.
out. It's a shame. So
Yeah.
we'll have to
Loads of
wait for the
those.
next wedding
Yes.
coming our way.
Yeah.
Hopefully not Maddie's next wedding.
No.
Well, if James keeps it up, you never know.
Yeah. No, shout out Muzi Pottinger, actually.
Yeah, shout out Muzi Pottinger and Tom James.
And Taylor Mason. So, anyway, fellas, I think we should really take this route.
We should wrap this up and
Take it out the back, put a bullet in it, and call it a night. So, ladies,
it's Monica Spencer, Madison Sivrite.
yeah. Do
you
you want to
go.
line that up
Sivrite.
again?
Maddie Sivrite. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Thanks, mates.
Thanks, mates.
No problem.
Hi, this is Blythe Tate, and you're listening to Eventing Weekly with Mitch and Braden.
Woo! Oh, that was loud.
It's loud.
Sorry.